So welcome to the FireWife Summit. And I would like to definitely thank our sponsors. I appreciate the fact that I had sponsors step up so that I could keep this event free for everybody to attend. So I want to thank MomWeb's hosting, Carney Strong, Multimedia Content Solutions, Mouse Ear Magic Travel, Laura Sierra, Appetite for Design, and Stitching the Night Away for being sponsors of the event for us. And so I'm Val Selby, and I'm not sure if I even I let us start off. I really wanted the event to just start off with the speakers. I am not an expert in this field by any means. I like to say that I am an expert in my marriage, and I like other spouses to work on being a expert in their marriages as well. All of our marriages are totally different. We bring new things to the table. Everybody's got their past that they bring to the table. So my big thing that I really wanted to happen with this summit is I really wanted the conversations just to get started. I think that this and other major topics are things that we do not talk about. We do not feel comfortable talking about it. I know a lot of people want to shove it aside because they, I know my dad, for one, is one of those ones that for many, many years, if you don't talk about it, then it won't happen. I'm the opposite. I feel like if I put things into place and expect it to happen, and not expect it in a bad way, like I'm not wishing it to happen, but if I put an insurance policy type thing into place, then it's less likely to happen. So I'm not sure if that's, I should probably tell my dad thank you, because that's the opposite of what I grew up with. But for me, one of the big things that I really like to tell the wives in the FireWife group, the Wife Behind the Fire group, is to get the conversation started before there's an issue. At the very start of your relationship, as soon as you possibly can, when you know that they're going to be a firefighter, or you know that they want to be a firefighter even, you need to have the conversation getting started. And even if they've been in for a long time now, it's still the time to get the conversation started. You just might have to start a little bit slower. But for me, I really have a few different things that I recommend that women are talking to their spouses about. And from the get-go, it's, for one, the conversation's hard. It's really hard to talk to people about mental health. It's really hard to do it and not have them defensive if they are starting to have some issues. But this is why I want the conversation to start before you know that there's issues. I want you to talk to them about, if you start to get worried, who do they want you to reach out to? And then share the phone numbers with you. Even leave notes of it. And then one other thing when you start doing that is you need to make sure, and you need to check in regularly about if those change. So if they come and talk to you and they say, I want to, okay, so if you're worried and I want you to go and talk to so-and-so, or maybe so-and-so, 5 years down the road, they might not be still working with that same person. They might not have the same relationship that they have with that person. So definitely check in, even if after you have had the conversation with them, of who they would like you to contact. If you are worried there's an issue, you got to keep bringing that conversation up just in case it's changed and they want you to contact somebody else. Another thing is also the opposite. Who do they not want you to talk to about it? And don't just assume that you know who that is, because again, things change. The dynamics in the fire station change a lot. So when you're asking them who do they want you to contact, also do the flip side and ask them, are there people that you want me to make sure never hear of anything? I think that goes a long way for them feeling more comfortable that you're not just out there to share dirty laundry, and the whole phrase, it goes without saying. No, it doesn't go without saying. When it comes to you know, their job, their livelihood, and like Jeff had said, I do consider volunteer as that's part of their job. When it comes to that aspect where they feel like they could be threatened, or they're worried, you know, what people are going to say and do and how they're going to change them, you have to take that into consideration. And no, it does not go without saying. It has to actually be said back and forth how they feel and how you feel, and work on that. So another way to really open up the conversation is to ask them, what do they feel would be the warning signs that they would like you to watch out for in them? And I think that helps a lot, because it gets them in the process of thinking through. And I'm going to make sure that I have all of those 5 questions that are not the questions, but the 5 characteristics that Jeff had posted. I think he's given me a flyer about it, so I will make sure that gets sent out. But especially if you've had you've got the flyer and you can pull it out and you're just like, so what, you know, and just pointedly ask them, so what do you think would be a sign that I should be worried, and maybe contact somebody? You know, make them active in that conversation. Make them think of the things. It's going to help down the line if you do feel that there's an issue and you need to talk to somebody about it. And then another one, of course, is that you need to share the resources that you have found and keep them handy. I don't think I told share, but as we were putting all of this together, I point blank went to my husband and I told him, I'm like, you know, if you ever need to talk to somebody, Cher would be a really good person to talk to. I said, you and Cher would get along great. So I just, you know, I just want you to know this is the chaplaincy program. This is what it's not. And I went into all the explanation of all of that. And I just told him flat out, I said, you know, you can trust Cher. I said, I promise you can trust Cher. So things like that, if you've got the resources in the area and you can go to them and show them the different resources, and of course you're not going to tell them who's gone per se, but and tell them that you do know that people have used them and like them, it's going to go a long way for that conversation to be a little bit more comfortable. And for me, that's my main thing. We need to start getting this more comfortable. It needs to be something that we talk about more so that we can take that stigma off of it. And I've been posting everywhere, and of course my sign off has turned into together we will make changes. And I really do believe together we will make changes, and especially together as spouses we will make changes. Cher and I had talked about the fact that we are, as the spouses, we have to be so strong for everything, and then we've got to be less strong when they move in, and we're going back and forth in between these different roles. But one thing that we do pretty darn well as a FireWives is the control issues and trying to keep everything together, right? We feel that that's part of our main role usually. So why can't we put this part into our role as well? And I don't mean we take it on as our responsibility. I mean the fact that we take it on as the fact that we need to talk more about it amongst ourselves. I think that's how the conversation is going to start, is amongst ourselves. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the things that we're dealing with, the garbage that we're dealing with, the days that we're celebrating because everything's gone well, the days that we are pissed off because everything's broke because he's at work again. All of that, I really feel that conversation just really, really starts with us talking about things as they're affecting us. And then also making sure that we are pulling them in, and sharing and making, I shouldn't say the word making, I guess, but encouraging them to talk and encouraging them to be a part of the family dynamics again. And there's so many aspects, like Jeff went over time. There's just so many aspects of all of it that it's definitely hard to talk about it all at once. But those are my big ones for starting the conversation. I will definitely get those, I think, probably in a blog post so that I can link to it for everybody. But I do want to open it up for any questions that anybody has at this time or discussion. And if you would like, you can go ahead and turn your mic back on if it's a lot easier than typing it out. Let's see, I'm going to go back. Sharon, you said, I think who not to is probably more important for their security of conversation. Yes, I think you probably typed it out better than I said it. But yeah, I agree. I think that's probably giving them that safe space of them knowing that you're not going to go and tell the person that they really dislike, right? Kristen, yeah, from your experience. Stephanie, I have a group for FireWives. Yeah, I've been running a group now for 6 years for FireWives. So I'll put it in the .com/groups/ Yeah, I know that there are a lot of firefighters that don't live close to where they work. I think it does go a long way, though, if you can try and go to the department and try and be involved as much as possible. I know there's been certain seasons of my life, of course, that were a lot easier to be more involved. We're empty nesters now, so it's a lot easier now, except for the dang dogs. Let's see, any other questions? But it is why I started the group 6 years ago, was to get back in contact, because I'd lost contact with all of my FireWife friends from around the country as well. And Michelle, it's so important for us as firewives and wives in general to support our husbands' well-being as it is theirs for us. I'm so glad that we're meeting and helping each other with this. Yes, I agree. It's a two-way street. Definitely. I know when I am in a healthier spot and taking care of myself, that whole spirituality side that she was talking about, I'm better able to help him for sure. And I'm also better able to see the signs that he's not doing so well. Like Jeff had said, if he's not sleeping as much, he's not sleeping as well, for me, that's a huge warning sign, because he's always been a sleeper. So if his sleep has changed, then I know that there's something going on that we probably need to address. Let's see, it's not going down. Ashley, that's a good one. Does anybody else think that if they ask their husband who to talk to and who not to talk to, that you were worried about them, they would say nobody or everybody? So I might not have gotten it across. What I am hoping that what you would come up with the conversation is not that you are worried about them right now. So start the conversation as in possibly sometime in the future, if there is an issue, who would you like me to talk to? And then, this is where your own relationship dynamics are going to come into play, because of course, if he's going to blow me off, I'm going to start naming people that I know for sure he's not going to want me to talk to. So, I mean, that's just my personality. I'm going to start harassing him with people that I know are probably not on his list. And then he's probably going to start coming up with people just to get me to shut up. But definitely lead into as in the future, just in case there is an issue, who would you like me to talk to? And then if he's not open to the conversation, then you might want to be not worried, but you might want to tell him, hey, it bothers me. It kind of bothers me that there's not anybody at the department that I feel like you have to talk to. You know, there's just so many ways the conversation can go without me being super specific for you. Let's see, Barbara. Oh, Barbara, absolutely. Yeah, is it okay if the person firefighter says I can talk to is not a firefighter? And for those that don't know, Barbara will be on tomorrow. She's our first speaker tomorrow. So of course, whoever they would want you to talk to is going to be okay. Definitely, because it's just what we want them to talk, right? We want the option to be able to talk. Let's see. Barbie, you were bringing up that bringing it up as they come into probation, you know, as new firefighters. Yeah, I think that's, for me, that's definitely an area that I really, really want to help out more, is these brand new firefighters as they're coming on, and the brand new families. Just because I know that when I came in, I had nobody. I had absolutely nobody. We had no idea what we were getting into. We flew in just completely blind with no backup from the department. It's just the way it was. And so I've been really working on all of us older firewives communicating more, talking more about all of the different things that we've gone through, how we've gone through them. You know, some of them are very open to sharing more of their details, of course, without privacy issues, taking in privacy issues for their firefighter. But it's definitely something that we talk a lot about, how there hasn't been change in so many departments from the older crowd down. If you look around, you will also notice that there hasn't been a lot of change from the FireWife older crowd down as well. So I'm really hoping that we can start working on changing that, and that's another big reason why I believe that together we will make changes, is because we just need to not take this into retirement with us. We need to pass on the information that we're learning over all of these years, the warning signs that we've picked up, the ways of dealing with different things, the ways of wording different things. If you're coming across an issue and you've got 10 or 15 different firewives that have been in that situation before, and they are bringing you their different wording that helped them, then you've got all of those resources to pick from, and you can hopefully find the wording that's going to work for your situation as well by melding some of what they're talking about.
You got the shitty end.
Kristen, you're on recording now. So make sure, don't hit mute unless you want to actually be talking. Let's see. I'm way behind on these. Sorry. Let's see. Thank you. I know quite a few. Aaron. By the way, it's faster. If you do have a question, you can pop on and just go ahead and unmute yourself, because I have a feeling that some of these are probably already getting answered, because I have so many wonderful people in here that are answering as we're going through. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we're going to go through, because I don't want the recording just me scrolling through everything. So thank you for everybody.